Here to talk about, with authority on South Korea, the economy and conditions. We have the nation's Vice Finance Minister this morning, Shin Yoon, joins us live from Seoul. Minister Shin, thank you so much for your time this morning. Before I move on to talk about North Korea, I want to talk about the big pressing issue this morning across all newspaper covers is Tim Geithner, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, in his trip across Asia. He's pushing for China, for Japan, and even South Korea to curb imports of Iranian oil. What is South Korea considering right now?
So we import 10% of the oil from Iran. So it will be some impact on Korean economy. So we will work with counterparts in U.S. and then there is some exemption and waiver clause in National Defense Authorization Act in U.S. So I think we did not look at the details of the law. So I think it is too early to say the Iranian sanction on Korean economy is.
Minister Shin, how much of a cut in Iranian crude is the United States pushing South Korea to cut right now to consider?
Well, I think it's 10% is not some small number. So I think it is important to diversify the import at some destination from over the world. So that is our key some agenda to lose the impact on the Korean economy.
Okay, let's talk about the Korean economy, because I guess the question would be, is it strong enough for South Korea to even considering eliminating Iranian crude supplies?
Pardon?
Is the South Korean economy, Minister, strong enough to withstand eliminating Iran as a crude oil supplier?
Well, so as I said before, it's 90% of the oil import is from the other countries. So we will contact our counterparts and to increase our imports from that area. So that is, I think, but it's too. As I said before, it's too early to say some approach on these some issues.
Okay, well, let's turn to North Korea, because it's interesting that we reported this week there was a 15% jump in defectors to South Korea last year. Do you anticipate an increase in 2012 now that Kim Jong-il is dead?
Well, it's a bit, I think Kim Jong-il's death does not affect Korean economy as much as last year some Kim Il-sung died. So at the day the Kim Jong-il's death announced that our financial market dropped 3.1%, but the next day is recovered soon. So I think it does not any more big risk as long as there is a big change in the Korean regime. So and also the real sector such as the basic necessities and the exports and imports does not show any some big change. So I think it is because of the learning effect from past experience and also mature citizenship, and I think it's a prompt to the government action. I think that is three factors that affect to stabilization of the Korean market and also Korean
Minister
economy.
Shin?
So I think it's I would say.
I was going to say that you know, with new leadership in North Korea, there's a lot of expectations that Kim Jong-un might open up North Korea like China did. Do you anticipate such a, shall we say, reform in the North?
Well, I think there are many some possibilities of the Kim Jong-un's future. So we now is monitoring the circumstances, and also we try to make some plan according to the many scenarios. So I think the most probable scenario is to that Kim Jong-un maintain their North Korea regime with the help of their relatives and the existing people.
Minister Shin, I also want to talk to you about external shocks coming from the global economy, because we had the central bank governor in China saying that China should prepare for possible shocks to the system in 2012. What about South Korea? Are you prepared for, say, an implosion on the European side? What are you looking at in terms of expectations from the global economy itself?
Well, I think there are two basic risks surrounding Korean economy. One is, as you mentioned, is the European fiscal crisis, and the other one is in Korea is some election risk, I would say. We have a general election, but the main thing is the global economy, maybe possible recession. But its Korean economy is very sound. In that our export destination is going to the more emerging markets, around 70%. So that means the European and U.S. economy does not affect Korean economy as much as before. So that is so I think is the most important thing is how the Chinese economy is going. So our economy is now more dependent on Chinese economy. So we are looking at the China economy.
Thank you so much for your time. South Korea's Vice Finance Minister Shin Jae-yoon joining us live from Seoul this morning.